Hi, viewers. Welcome to This Lens podcast. I'm Ziad and I'm your host for today. Today, we are going to have a discussion with the brain behind This Lens podcast, Mr. Caleb Sechi. Welcome, sir. You look amazing.
Thank you. You look great as well.
Thank you. So, why This Lens podcast?
All right. When we look at this lens podcast, this lens has two words coming together, which is the DIS,
Okay.
and the lens. Let me explain the lens before I come to the this. All right. So, when we talk about lens, when we look at our society today and we talk about a lens, for example, the people who wear lenses, the lenses serve as an aid for them to view things properly and view things well in their real manner so that their eyes will not fail them or will not deceive them. All right. So the this in front of the lens is an abbreviation for dreams in shape,
Okay.
which is coming from this creatives, which is the mother of this lens podcast.
Wow.
So the reason for this lens being the podcast is for us to view things, all right? For us to use that lens to view things in its real form and compare it to truth. All right. So this lens comes from this creative, which is a brother or the mother of creativity. Okay. So dreams in shape lens meant for viewing things from generation to generation and bridging the gap between generation, talking about truth, talking about realities, and comparing it to what is working today, what is not working today in our societies. So basically, that's the reason for this lens podcast.
Wow, that's interesting. I'd like to ask, what is this Lens podcast really for? Who are they for?
All right. So when you look at our main vision, our main vision is to bridge the gap between generations. All right. No, so now we have the Gen Zs, we have the Gen Alpha,
We
we
have
have the
millennials,
millennial,
yeah.
we have all these people. So the question we keep asking ourselves is that I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Have you been misunderstood by your parent before?
Almost all the time.
All right. All right. So almost that is like almost all the time. Let me ask you another question. Have you been in church and you think that what was planned is actually not going with your vibe? What was planned by the elderly people is not something that you really want to do. Not in the sense of not being good, but in the sense of the vibe. You're not flowing with the vibe. Has it ever happened to you before? And
Of
can you give
course.
me an instance?
Okay, so there was this time that we were supposed to have a youth, a church program, and then we, the youth, we wanted to, come in with dance, choreography, singing, spoken word, but you see, the older people were like, "Oh no, 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 no! This is just for praying, fasting, and those stuff." And the youth weren't really happy because it doesn't match our vibe.
All right. So you see, so this lens serves as a medium to bridge the gap between the generations, where parents of today could understand the vibe of the young one today, right? Even in terms of correction,
Okay.
all right? How do I correct my child in this generation? How is even correction done in this generation? How is communication supposed to be in this generation? All right. So there are a lot of people who are regretting so many things uh, with regards to different generations, them not having people not misunderstanding. Let me put it that way. There's a whole lot of misunderstanding between the young and the old. The young also think that the old are outmoded, or we have a word we call it
Archaic.
archaic.
Of course.
They think that the old are archaic, even in terms of instruction, in terms of direction. Some of the young ones think that they are even smarter than the old. So this podcast is there to bridge the gap. There are things that the millennium know that is life-saving for the Gen Z. There are things that the millennium don't know and don't understand about the Gen Z. So now we are there to bridge the gap. All right. So we talk about all these things. We look at it from our lens. That is why it is this lens. We look at it from our lens. Then we bring it to reality. Then we link it up with the truth, because we want it to be a life-saving podcast for our generation and the unborn generation.
Wow, I must say this is a great vision. And I mean, this lens has come to stay, because there are a lot of things that as Gen Zs we do that our millennials, our parents do not understand. And there are a lot of things that our parents always try to make us do that in our generation we think that is outmoded. So this podcast, this lens podcast, is going to bridge all these gaps. So I would like to know, what are some of the topics, are they, can you just brief us on some of the topics that would be discussed?
All right. So you're asking me of the topics we are going to discuss on the podcast.
Okay.
So we are going to discuss interesting topics like the regrets of the youth. All right. So an example, what are some of the regrets that you think that the today generation, the so-called Gen Z generation, are going to regret in the near future?
Okay. I think that some of the actions that the Gen Zs are doing that would affect them in the future, or they might regret in the future, is not spending time with family. Because these days it looks like social media has replaced family time in our
Okay.
homes.
Okay.
So that's what I think they would do.
All right. So these are some of the things that we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about some regrets, like drugs, where the youth of today think that it is fun to do drugs. All right. There are a couple of things that the youth of today are doing that is going to hurt their tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. We are going to discuss sensitive topics like communication between the generations. All right. So, for example, the millennium, there are things that are working that used to work in their time, but that does not work in our time today. All right. So, an example is study hard and work hard and be successful. So, we are going to discuss whether it's
Applicable.
feasible
Okay.
or it's applicable in our time.
Okay.
All right. So we are going to talk about important things
Health.
like health. We are going to discuss communication even between parents and children.
Okay.
We are going to even go to the extent of discussing things in the Sunday school. All right. Now we shouldn't forget that this lens is to view things from different generations.
Okay.
Now bring them to reality, whether it is applicable or it is workable or it is even important in our today.
Okay.
All right. Then we will not leave it ajar, but we will link it up with the truth. All right. So an example is Sunday school. The songs that we were being taught during our time, are they applicable today? What message were they trying to communicate to us? That our generation even gets the message. All right. So we look at all these things. We look at things pertaining to health, the things we are eating today, and how it's going to affect our tomorrow. So we are going to talk about sensitive things. We are going to talk about important things, applicable things, We are going to talk about skills.
Right.
All right. We shouldn't forget that this lens comes out of a bigger move, or has a mother called this creation. Now, the purpose for this creation is to bring into being raw talents. You shouldn't forget that it is dreams in shape. You remember, you shouldn't forget that everything has to be shaped, everything has to be guided. Once you don't get guidance, once you don't get people to trim you, to help you, you won't be able to achieve whatever that you're supposed to achieve. And looking at the survey that this creative have done, we've realized that there are so many things, that dreams that people couldn't achieve, not because they didn't have the dream, but because they didn't get people to shape their dreams. People have wild imaginations, people have talent, but all these things, some of them are not able to bring them into reality, or they are not able to birth them. Let me use that word. They are not able to birth them. And the reason is that they didn't get the people to shape them. I think I was talking to somebody. The person was so talented, and I was asking, how does he even make money out of his talent? And he was like, make money out of my talent. He just didn't have an idea to go about it. So we have people who are talented, but yet still they cannot even place value on their talent, all right, to profit from the talent.
Okay.
So this creatives is there to shape, to help all these people shape them, and bring their dreams into reality. All right, that's it.
That's really deep and interesting. I mean, this is a great vision.
Yeah.
And God really bless you for bringing something like this to us, because we really need to talk about a whole lot of things. I mean, this generation, I mean, it's really massive, and we say God bless you. So, this creative, can you give us your social media handles?
All right. So you can find us on TikTok as this lens podcast. All right.
Okay.
But you can find us on Instagram as this underscore creatives. You
Okay.
can find us on Facebook as this creatives. And you can find us on YouTube as this creatives. So the podcast was bettered out of this creatives,
Okay.
which is the mother of all. So when you search on all the social media, uh, all the social medias that we have, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube channel, right? You can find us there. When you see this creatives, it's us. When you see this lens podcast, this lens podcast, it is also us.
Wow.
All right.
It has been an amazing time with you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for explaining and making us understand what this Lens podcast is all about. We are grateful. Thank you for your time.
Most welcome. All right.
So, we've had an insightful discussion with the visionary behind this Lens podcast, and we'll say that they really have a lot of things to talk about. They really have a lot of things to help us with. So the whole idea is bridging the gap between generations, and I think that we should give them all our support because we really need it. Thank you so much for joining in. I still remain your favorite host, Ziat. Thank you.